While my reading pace has slowed down a bit as of late, I'm still adding new books to my TBR at an alarming rate. Wow. I should write poetry. Hi everyone, my name is Holly and today I want to talk about some recent additions to my TBR, books I have recently added to my read in 3 years list because that's how this whole book buying thing works, right? Let's just jump straight into it. All of these books are digital copies on my Kindle because new books are hard to afford these days during this pandemic. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is The Conductors. This is a book I recently got on my Kindle that I really wanted to mention, but it doesn't come out until 2021. I want to read it so badly, but I know I should wait until closer to its release date so I can do a proper review for it, but it is so freaking hard. So if I was doing a 5-star predictions video, this book would be on that list. I am so hyped for it. It's a debut by a new voice in fantasy fiction and features the magic and mystery of Jim Butcher's Dresden Files written in a unique historical setting. Whoa, that sounds amazing. This is introducing Hetty Rhodes, a magic user and former conductor on the Underground Railroad who now solves crimes in post-Civil War Philadelphia. Are you serious? Do you ever read a summary that gives you chills? Because that's what this is doing to me. It's a book that I can literally picture the color palette the world would be in. Is that weird? Rusty dirt roads, noir underground. Ugh, give me all of the vibes. The next book I recently acquired is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. Now, the reviews for this? Horrific, but I am a Josh Malerman fan. I loved Bird Box, the book, when it came out. This just sounds like my worst nightmare. I'm terrified of the deep ocean, even though I find it fascinating and would love to learn about it immensely. But in general, I'm terrified of deep bodies of water where you can't see anything. It's just freaking black abyss. This is how bad it is. Even in video games, so like Grand Theft Auto, when you swim out as far as you can in the ocean, I can't even get myself to dive underneath the water. Pure nightmare for me. So this follows our protagonists as they discover and explore the house at the bottom of a secret lake that they find only by traveling through a narrow tunnel. This is incredibly short, just over 100 pages, which has me a little worried. I'm always super wary of short books like that, even books around 200 to 300 pages. I am so used to reading 500-page books which have immense world building and so much info to learn about, so it does have me a little iffy. But I do own it and I'm definitely going to read it. I feel like this is one that I'm going to pick up probably soon so that I can catch up on my Goodreads reading challenge, which I'm 7 books behind now. Love that for me. The next book I have added to my TBR is very interesting, and that is Automatic Reload. This is a novel that does a great job in distinguishing itself. Somewhat of a different pace of fantasy. It really has this sort of look of a warm, more artistic, serendipitous piece of work, but don't be fooled. It's very obviously an adult, high-octane cyberpunk story about a grizzled mercenary with machine gun arms who unexpectedly falls in love with a bioengineered assassin. Now, romance. Ha! You all know how I feel about that now, but I feel like I can brave the elements with this one, especially since it promises a lot of adventure, humor. Look at the cover. I actually thought it was a graphic novel at first, but then I looked on my Kindle and was shocked to find it's a full-length novel. The first sentence here is, "I'm not a fan of human arms." Sold. I personally feel like the fun level might be matched with the Murderbot series. I now want to start reading this. This happens to me every single time I film a video. Please stop me. The next book that I have here is A Mark of Kings. I bought this recently when I spotted it as a Kindle daily deal for 99 cents, and I've had my eye on it for a while. I believe it released early last year, so it's not old by any means. I've seen people compare just enjoyment of this to Mistborn and the Drizzt series by R.A. Salvatore. It's an adult indie fantasy following Declan, who is a sellsword, one of my buzzwords, who adventures with a shape-shifting horse and his elf daughter, which is already very intriguing to me. It is written by dual authors, which it has me a little wary of sometimes because it's like getting a tattoo that two different artists worked on. It can either be freaking amazing to have two talents skew the fantasy formula, or it can be a shit show. Another Kindle Daily deal that I recently purchased was The Seven Forges by James A. Moore. Now, this is an older fantasy published in 2013 from Angry Robot. I love Angry Robot as a publisher. They focus on SFF books, so they really remind me of Orbit books, and they are the love of my life, so it's already a great marriage. Now, originally, all I saw of this book was the snowy cover and these images on Goodreads. I instantly wanted to read it. I love snowy adult fantasies. In every way, that is a very good setup to me. It's really the atmosphere that is a definite yes for this book. Obviously, it is far more developed than Beyond Snowy Mountains, and it seems like a really advanced fantasy. It's following a captain leading a small group of adventurers toward a range of unexplored mountains called the Seven Forges, and they have to traverse a frozen wasteland. More buzzwords. But obviously the adventure turns into something much more dangerous. Hold up, how long is this book? 400 pages. Is the series finished? It is. We need to move on before I stop filming and just read it now. The next book I'm actually really excited to talk about, and that is Stormblood by Jeremy Zell. First off, Jeremy is such a nice guy. Buy his book, honestly, just because of how kind he is. I feel like he's created a very welcoming sci-fi community. I pre-ordered this digital copy actually because that's how excited I was for it. Well, I still am, I should correct myself. It's an adult sci-fi that really creates a unique set of challenges for our characters. It feels like it's going to be a drastic update to the sci-fi genre where there's just not enough aliens, and Jeremy has confirmed to me aliens, bro. There's literally a drug harvested from alien DNA, or to put it more clearly, alien drug dealers. This truly could be a satisfying and well thought out sci-fi exploration feature in my library, especially considering military sci-fi is a subgenre gathering dust in my life, but this one has such charm. I'm so tightly laser focused on this book that I really need to read it soon. And the final book I'll be talking about, I think, in this video is The Space Between Worlds. This is a sci-fi I forgot to mention in my August new releases video, and it haunts me in my dreams that I did that, but this book is really giving us some interesting info. Like, this is such an inversion of everything I see in sci-fi. That's not to say your well put together sci-fi is bad, but just that it's really nice to see somebody mix it up a bit. It's about an outsider who can travel between worlds and discovers a secret that threatens her new home. This is set in a world where multiverse travel is common knowledge. There's been a total of 382 parallel Earths that have been documented, but every time you travel could be the one that kills you. This is a sci-fi nerd's wet dream, honestly. The details in this story sound immense, and how the solar systems intersect with one another just builds upon this fun exploration factor. Ugh, I love it. So there you have it, a list of books that I have recently added to my TBR. Now let me know down below in the comments if you have read any of these and what other books you have recently come across worth adding to your TBR. Go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. I upload videos every single week. Follow me on Instagram at HollyHeartsBooks and on Twitter at HollyNiece, and until we meet again, happy reading.